Good afternoon. Welcome back to now episode 4 of the Talking Beards podcast. Good to see all you fine gentlemen again this Sunday evening. How are we all?
All good, all good.
Yep.
Excellent.
All good
Really
today.
excellent.
I had a 10 and a half hour shift in work. I'm great.
There's a little backstory though, Wozzy. Wozzy, what day? There he is. Today is what day for you, Wozzy?
What?
What day is it today for you, Wozzy?
I don't really want to talk about it. I feel like we shouldn't put too much emphasis on it.
You're struggling to get that badge on the wall,
Just,
aren't you?
just a normal day. It's just a
Just a
normal
normal
day.
day.
Normal
Okay.
day. We don't need to talk about it.
How many years experience above 18 have you got now?
32.
No, you've not got 32, but just for
Are you 50
clarity,
this year?
just for clarity, Warren's got 50.
What?
He's got 14 years experience for the mathematical geniuses out there. 18 with 14 years experience.
Fucking same age as your mum.
No, honestly, guys, we don't have to talk about my birthday. We don't. You don't have to talk about
I've got to say, how many of those are reduced items from your shop today?
full price then. They were full price. Only the best. Only the best for me.
You live by yourself? What a waste of money.
Put him up for himself.
Oh, funny. Not
Magic.
that we're making a big deal of it or anything.
We're not making
No,
a big deal of it,
no.
guys.
No.
Well, I hope you're having a fantastic day nonetheless.
Cheers.
Shall we kick off with Cam's horrible histories?
We shall.
1 second down, we get them up.
He's got his epilogue already.
Where is it?
Eulogy, biopic. Biopic. For all I know, there could be a historical eulogy in there somewhere.
Right, so it's not going to be such a story as it was last week. It's going to be just kind of like facts that are going to like mess with your perception of time and like kind of weird old things, basically from like Tudors and Edwardians and all that kind of stuff.
Fire away then.
So the first one is we made it to the moon. It's only 66 years after the first controlled human flight. So
We went from flying to the moon in 66 years.
Yeah, like literally the Wright brothers making their first flight, and in 66 years we made it basically past like flying airplanes. They went straight, and then went to the moon.
Were they them? Nah. Were they them brothers that did that gluing them wings and shit? And just
Yeah, like when you see the thing, it's literally like it looks like it wouldn't fly. Like it looks like a paper airplane.
Yeah, it was a fairly primitive idea that they had.
Yeah,
But
they were-
the idea is still the same, isn't it? Because it's still all about thrust and air resistance.
Yeah.
The idea, even powered, the power really just gets you off the ground. Like
Yeah.
it's the same sort of thing. It's just about creating. They go so much faster because they create their own thrust now. But actually, the science is still the same.
Yeah,
one of the brothers died in testing, didn't they?
I don't know.
I know they were played by the Wilson brothers
Yeah.
in Around the World in 80 days.
That was a good film, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, unless it's like a biblical story. Well, I don't know. I can't remember.
No, good film though. If you in the history of the universe and you placed humans on a calendar year, we wouldn't exist until 11:59 p.m. on the 31st of December.
What?
So if you put it in context of all times, all the years that the universe has existed,
Yeah.
and you put humans in that mix, if you put it on like a calendar year, so like from beginning where the universe was to up to now, so the last minute of the last hour of the last bit right at the end of the year, that's how long in the whole kind of time that the universe has been here. What we've existed in.
It's too complicated for
shit.
simple minds such as
Yeah,
myself.
no. So basically, what you're saying is, if the length of the history of the universe was the length of 1 year, like dinosaurs being, say, February, fucking March, and so on and so on, we didn't actually come into that equation until 1 minute before midnight, right at the end of this year.
Yeah.
But I
What
think
a happy new year that was.
But I think in this, dinosaurs would still be like December.
Yeah, they would
That's
be.
the point.
They'd be in the same hour. They'd be in the same hour.
Bloody
Yeah.
hell.
Wow. So
Like,
we're
for the
the
history of
most
time.
insignificant shit to ever happen.
Oh.
Speak for yourself. I'm very important.
Thank you for the views. It makes us feel significant.
It's like it's the same if you were 66 million light years away, and you could see the Earth like full on down like view, you could still see dinosaurs if you were 66 million years away.
That's how fucking long it takes light to travel.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Mad.
That's crazy. There's stars still out there in the sky that you look at, and we'll still see them for another 100 million years, but they've been dead 100 million years already. They're gone.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I actually knew that one. I knew that one.
Woolly mammoths were still alive when the Sphinx in Egypt was built and carved in 2500 BC.
Oh. That mean Ice Age is a lie?
No, I mean they still had mammoths and stuff back then. It's just they were still alive up to then.
I only like my cartoons when they're really realistic.
Because he claimed to be the only one, you know.
Yeah, but in the next film,
I was gonna say by the third one, there's like literally a herd of them.
The mammoths are liars, is what you're telling me.
And it's like if you put it in time context again, Cleopatra lived close to the invention of the iPad than she did the building of the pyramids.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
It's mental, isn't it? It's
Wow.
crazy.
Love Cleopatra.
Anne Frank and Martin Luther King were born in the same year in 1929.
Wow.
29.
Wow.
It's a really weird concept, right? So you know all this stuff in history. For us, it's like a distant memory. Like my late granddad, God rest his soul, bless him, he was born the same year as the Queen, like the late Queen. Like his birthday was literally St. George's Day of the year the Queen was born. Like, so he saw all of that, like in his lifetime.
Yeah, it's
and we
crazy.
see it as a distant memory now because we weren't even thought about at the times that this was happening.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
Nelson Mandela died in 2013, meaning he could have played all of the GTA games and still be up to date.
Yes.
I like that. That's a good one. I like that.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's such a dig at GTA. It's such a dig at Rockstar. I love
that. Italy officially became a country 25 years after Coca-Cola was invented.
Wow.
What was it before it was a country?
I think it was just part of a bigger, expansive land where they fully split everything up.
Was it part of the Roman Empire, the remnants of that?
It probably would have been, yeah, or neighbouring countries probably would have disputed the land and then it split and made its own thing.
Yeah.
The Great Pyramids were older to the people of Rome, of the Roman Empire, than the Romans are to us.
Wow.
What?
Do you get that, Wozzy?
No, what?
So when the pyramids were built, yeah?
Right.
So when the Roman Empire was around,
yeah.
When the Roman Empire was like that time then, was older, so longer. The time period between that was longer than when the Roman Empire was a thing, and we are like now. If that makes sense.
Right.
You don't get it, do you?
Move on.
Move on. Homer Simpson's not getting
it. Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night painting. Do you all know what that looks like, Wozzy? Yeah.
Very nice painting.
Was painted the same year Nintendo was founded in 1889.
Wow.
I know Nintendo.
It's interesting to me, Vincent van Gogh's paintings, because GCSE art students literally do better paintings. I don't get it. I always think this about Shakespeare. Like, I don't think Shakespeare was a genius. I think we've just decided he was a genius, and we've gone.
I think it's all about perspective, isn't it?
Well, I think we've just gone, oh, isn't it amazing how the way he describes that rose? Well, yeah, but if I describe it, someone in 1,000 years, or it's only been 300 or 400 years, isn't it? Someone in 300 or 400 years might decide I was a genius, but I'm not. I just find it all a bit odd with Shakespeare, and I think a lot about these kinds of arty types.
He like invented that kind of storytelling, though, didn't he? Like,
I've got at least 30 kids at school. Not that I teach art, but I've got at least 30 kids who could paint better sunflowers than Van Gogh.
Yeah, but I think at the time it was like one of those things where people just weren't used to seeing that, and he kind of like reinvented.
It was all about the brush strokes, wasn't it?
Yeah, and nowadays it's so common that he invented it.
Dull.
I kind of feel that way about Picasso, though. He could fuck up someone's face on a painting and was denoted as a genius for it.
But I do it.
No, but come on. But then it gave Citroen a reason to fuck up another car, and they claimed it was a tribute to Picasso. No, you just fucked up.
I'm not sure how comfortable Picasso would be that his legacy is the Citroen Picasso.
Neither would I be, to be honest. Oh, I didn't paint to inspire people to create that monstrosity.
I just really wanted someone to name a car after me. That's what I wanted. I hope someone names a car after me. The Mustang Andrew.
Oh.
So I've just gone through to actually find one that's decent.
I wonder
You
what
typing
I've
out-
named after myself. A cake.
A what?
A cake. I'd love like like one of them high-tiered cakes, but I'd want it to be like every flavour imaginable and just name it the Warren.
Like walnut,
Yeah, like
almond,
chocolate,
red velvet.
strawberry,
Why are
lemon.
you naming all the worst flavours of cake, Ben?
I was just thinking of things with the letters of his name, to be honest.
Not almond, red velvet. Oh, right, I get you.
White chocolate for W.
Sorry, the only other one that came to mind immediately was watermelon. I was like, well, I'll put that in a cake.
I love a bit of watermelon. That'd be all right.
So do I, yeah, but
Do you remember the old vines, the watermelon vines?
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It's a watermelon inside a watermelon.
Have you guys ever heard about all the similarities between Abe Lincoln and JFK?
Yes, I love this.
Mental.
You were both shot.
Yeah, Warren, that's where it ends. It's just great.
Right, end the podcast. We don't need it anymore.
What they are is, Warren, they're the only two people in history to be shot.
yeah, see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Go on, reel them off for us, Cam, because these are actually
They're
fascinating.
crazy as well. So they were both elected to the election, yeah. So they're both elected in Congress in 1846, and 1946, and then to presidency in 1860 and then 1960, retrospectively. Both were shot and killed in the head on a Friday with their assassins shot and killed before trial. So their assassins were killed before trial. Both of their wives lost a child while they were first ladies. Both were succeeded by Southerners called Johnson. Both names contain 7 letters. Birthdays. So Lincoln was born on February the 12th, 1809, and Kennedy was born on the 29th of May, 1917. It's not really an interesting fact about him, actually. It's nowhere. That's literally all right then. So it was Lincoln was killed in a theater and chased, and then what's his name? Booth was chased to a warehouse and shot. And then Oswald he shot from a warehouse and was chased to a theater and then shot as well. It's like one of the weird swish arounds and stuff as well. And and it was, I think, JFK was killed in a Lincoln. I think the car was as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some other similarities and stuff in there. But yeah, like the way it all lines up is a bit strange.
This is like
confirmed.
exactly 100 years apart as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man. And they say this shit's not planned.
Well,
Who's they?
whoever's trying to tell us it's not planned. Inside info. Just putting it out there.
that's all the facts and stuff I've got for you boys at this time.
Nice. I absolutely love that Nelson Mandela could have played. It could be up to date still on Grand Theft Auto. I just really hope he completed it before he died because I like the idea that he is up to date.
I don't think he got any DLC, but he got the main game at least.
That's just
What a brilliant
fantastic.
one. That's great.
So I'm going to talk about. I'll go next because then we're not ending on something quite tough, and I've crunched quite a lot of numbers for this. So I'm going to give you quite a lot of numbers, but they are quite interesting. I'm going to talk about myth or fact: the cost of living crisis. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to give you some numbers, and I think there's lots of really important ones here, and I don't need to go through everything. I've just got lots of examples. So we'll start with the cost of things. So the average house price now. So all I've gone is from 2024 to 2019. Okay, because I think that's what we're talking about is the last 5 years since COVID, since there's been quite a lot of government upheaval. Those are the things that we're talking about. So I'm not talking historical because obviously most of the time inflation was pretty normal between there. The average cost of a house in the United Kingdom is £268,000 right now. Does anybody know what it was? Anyone have a guess what it was in 2019?
Half of that.
I don't think it was
190.
You said a guess.
So it was 215, which is 24% lower. So we don't need to know, but we need to know that houses are 24% more expensive than they were in 2019, right? Price of fuel. I've just gone on petrol because it was just the first one that came up. The average UK cost, I think this will shock us because it's not this for us up north, but the average cost of fuels, and it's 145.9 right now. Anyone want to take a guess at what it was in 2019?
2019.
119.
Oh!
So that's gone up by 22%. However, as we know, in about 2022, it was way, way, way up. But right now, it's 119. So it's 22% up. Okay, so just remember that. We've got 28% houses, 22% on fuel. So I'm trying to get specific ones out the way first. I don't know what that says. Used car. So the average cost in the UK of a used car is £16,309. In 2019, it was £12,798. So that's 27% rise. Okay. So I've got the average cost of a food shop somewhere as well, I think. Anyway, so so those are all, and most things are in that kind of region of around 20%. I've got other things, but minimum wage, it's £11 and 44 pence now. Anyone know what it was in 2019?
Was it £8.40 or something like that?
£8.21. So that is a 28% rise. The average salary in the UK is 37,430, which, interestingly, not that anyone's asked, is almost bang on to the penny what I earn. Anyone know what it was in 2019?
29.
30,378. So that's gone up 23%. The point I'm sort of making with that one is when we go, oh, well, the average salary's gone up 23%, and that's sort of in line with inflation almost. People might go, oh, well, yeah, it's all the highest earners that have gone up, but actually minimum wages had a higher rise than the average salary. So those things I think can easily lead you to believe that there is no cost of living crisis, but I'm about to prove that there is. Average price of electricity per unit right now is 93.2 pence. Does anybody know what it was in 2019?
Average price of what?
56
per unit of electricity.
As in, like, what it goes up a day?
No,
per kilowatt of usage,
you pay for a unit, don't you? I just got units because I've got gas as well, so I'll just do it by the unit. But yeah, it's per kilo. You also pay a standing fee, so like
that's what I thought
per day. So
it's like 56p or something.
Yeah, so it's 93.2 now. It was 47.48. It's a 96% uplift. Now that, let me tell you before we move on, that is nothing, right? At one point, it was double what it is now. So that's how bad the cost of living crisis was in 2022. Gas, let's do rent. So the average rental price in the UK right now is 1,301 per month. Anyone want to hazard a guess at what it was in 2019?
850.
I think it was still 1,000 or something. Though.
747. So that is an uplift of 74%.
Jesus.
Just we don't need the numbers, but benefits have also gone up by 23%. Just so we're talking about everyone's kinds of different types of income. Gas is 96.79 pence per unit, which is a therm. You pay the unit is called a therm. Anyone want to hazard a guess at what it was in 2019? So it's 96.79 now.
I thought it was a little bit lower than the electric, wasn't it? But 39.42p.
It was £25.65. Gas has gone up by 277%.
Wow.
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
I would argue that the reason there's a cost of living crisis is for gas, electricity, and rent. Now, for most of us, I would say probably none of us own our homes, do we?
No.
So for all four of us, we're getting screwed. Not that buy-in, because buy-in has gone up, but that's what's screwing us. That's why there's a cost of living crisis. So I don't have the average of cost of living. There are a couple of people I would like to give a shout out to for their contributions. Water has only gone up 6.3%.
Yeah.
Car insurance has only gone up 5.6%. Now, far be it from me to defend car insurance because I hate them, but 5.6% is actually also car insurance data is the most readily available. Some of this was not that easy to find, but car insurance, confused.com do a quarterly price index, so it was easy to find. I've actually got the third quarter of this year, and I had the fourth quarter of 2019. But yeah, so that's it. So those are the things that are really, really screwing us. I think it's dead important because I think we're all angry at the energy companies, and this is me saying to you,
yeah,
rightly so. Like, absolutely, we should be. I know 277% on gas sounds extreme, and I wasn't paying a gas bill in this. I was a student in 2019, so I wasn't paying a gas bill in the same way. But it does. The gas bill cripples us. Like, it's unaffordable. And I look at the likes of, if you're on benefits now it doesn't include you. It doesn't include your rent, does it? Because housing benefits paid, I think separately. But universal credit, I'm not really sure how it works, but it's £393 per month. So if you're paying £96, if you're paying 277% more on gas, 97% more on electric, your rent is 74%. I'm not sure how that's included or what. You're paying 22% more on fuel, 23, and then obviously 6% more on water and 5% more on insurance. How are you affording that with 23% more benefits when it's less than 400 quid a month that you're getting in your hand? I just don't understand how. I know our gas and electricity bill is about, I think we pay £160 a month. How are you affording for your gas and electricity to be nearly half of your income?
Do you mind me asking what size property you're in?
So we do live in a 3-bed,
3-bedroom house, upstairs, downstairs.
Yeah, it's a small 3-bed, so it is like it's been knocked through downstairs, so it's like one big living room.
It's just for the viewers, because I mean, comparatively, I'm a 1-bedroom, 2nd floor flat, and I pay £126 a month solely electric. There is no gas here.
I'm not actually sure what we pay in electric, but I know a lot of our normal stuff is gas. Like our cooker's gas and the shower uses hot water, so that we haven't got like an electric. I would say we don't use a lot of electricity really, but we pay £160 for both.
My gas and Lecky bill came through today, funnily enough. And Andrew, you know my house. I'm in a 2-bed, 2-living room, quite a large old house. And my bill came through. It was only £77.
I mean, you sending them meter readings though, because that doesn't sound right. Okay, so
by the time he does, he's fucked.
but it's a very you thing to do that, Warren, because you will go, oh, just pay it and then it's sorted, isn't it? But it's not sorted, because when you send them a meter reading in 3 months and you realise you owe them 500 quid.
Also got to know that I'm never in this house, really, am I? Like, I mean, I am at night, but I'm out all day. Like,
yeah, but we all go to work, Warren. Like,
I will also sit in the freezing cold before I put the fucking heating on.
Well, you've got to be careful with that, because if your pipes freeze, your house is fucked.
I put it on every now and again. Well, my rent is also substantially lower than what you've been quoting. But
but we in the Northwest on almost every count. And then lots of these things you could look at regionally. The Northwest and the Northeast are cheaper than everywhere else. Do you know where's really expensive? The East Midlands. East Midlands is surprisingly high up.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah, the East Midlands was surprisingly high up. Obviously, down south is the most expensive for everything, but East Midlands is kind of the mean for everything. Whereas the Northwest is low down. So my rent is less than the average rent for a 3-bedroom house in what is considered a shitty area, to be fair. My rent is still less than the average rent from 2019.
Same.
And that's interesting you say comparatively, obviously, because regionally, yes, the average salaries in the regions, obviously across the data of the whole UK, that's the average for the whole UK. But regionally, the salary 20% increase, say in the East Midlands, against the hike of the rent, the electric, the gas, the council tax, because even the council tax, Cameron probably contested this as well. It went up £29 a month this year for us alone, which is another £360 this year on council tax, which that's not a little amount to have to lose. That's almost another direct debit for your phone or your TV or your internet or something. And that was simply just council tax.
So what is your council tax per month?
On my little 1-bedroom, I pay £147 a month.
So that's more than me.
And do you see? Yeah, it's just just for the viewers have got something comparative. North, northeast, northwest up there. We're at East Midlands down here. Us two, obviously, London South's going to be way higher than us.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is the West Midlands is not as expensive.
No.
I got quite lucky in regards to the tax because as this rise happened, I went from living in a partnership to living on my own. So I was able to claim single persons as the rise happened. So I actually dropped down when it rose.
So yeah, you won't feel the effect of that until the following financial when they up it again, I suppose. Cam, what do you pay council tax?
Probably about 160 odd.
Jesus Christ.
Bloody
You
hell.
have a house as well, yeah.
2-bed flat as well.
So we have a 3-bed house and we pay 139. However, what I would say is that Liverpool Council are absolute dog shit. So it does feel a little bit with council tax. It does feel a little bit like you're sort of paying for nothing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because they're talking about maintaining things that you would never use and that don't matter to you, like parks and things like that. And then basically it's like you're paying 100 and whatever a month, 130, 140 something it is for us. It's like to empty your bins and they do it once a fortnight.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly on that one, a lot of the areas around here, some of the surrounding areas and some of our areas now, and some of the further south is worse than us, way worse than us. But even here, like my parents, literally 10 miles down the road, they have been told now that for the next year and for the foreseeable future, to have garden waste collected is now going to be £35 a year for that bin to be collected. So what?
I thought you had to pay for that anyway.
Our garden waste is more than that. We've had to pay for our garden waste for quite a few years, and it's more than that.
Like, I don't do garden waste for that reason. I just shove it at the bottom of my regular bin.
Yeah, when we moved into our house, our garden waste bin was full of soil and unmovable, and we've just never moved it because we can't. But there's no way I would be. I'm just not paying. The cost of council tax is ridiculous. But this will continue happening as the central government gives councils less and less money. This hike, I mean, Manchester have had a huge hike in council tax in the last 5 years since Andy Burnham was elected as mayor, because as the government sort of offers less and less to the local councils have to find ways to make up their deficits, and unfortunately, it falls on us.
Yeah.
I think they've just stopped repairing the roads around here to save money.
Well, roads is a road tax issue, isn't it? So this is why I resent, because I actually don't pay road tax because my car is an efficient diesel car. But the road tax is what should pay for the roads, because people who don't drive shouldn't be paying to repair roads.
Yeah.
And not to piss anyone else off, but I mentioned this yesterday on our trip to Wales and back. Has anybody heard of the new bill that they're passing? Any new car that you purchase now that is over the value of £40,000 will be subject to £600 a year road tax flat rate.
I don't think any of us are going to have that problem, are we?
No. But then even mid-tier second-hand cars that are falling on the 30,000 plus, they're hiking that tax up as well, because obviously they're causing more damage to the roads apparently, and something to do with they're higher on the insurance claims and things, which is hiking everyone else's insurance.
But you know why they're doing it, don't you? It's because more and more cars are electric and are road tax free, and they're realizing actually there's a deficit here that we're creating a huge deficit as now probably, I don't know, maybe 20% of the cars on the road now, maybe a bit less, maybe 10. As they've become effectively road tax free, they've realized, oh my God, there's a 10 or a 15% deficit in the road tax from before. What are we going to do? And that's why they're doing it.
And that's on top of the government. Obviously, you know, you go buy a Tesla, they'll give you a £6,000 to £8,000 grant off of the Tesla by way of energy saving and doing your bit for the carbon footprint. So, well, that's great. The government handing out £8,000 they don't have to somebody to buy Elon Musk's Tesla, who's already a multi-trillionaire or whatever.
He's made it to 400 billion. I think he's the first person ever this week to make it to 400 billion. There's never been a trillionaire, but he will get there.
He will get there. Yep. Yep.
And he's done that. I think he's doubled his net worth in a year or something. I think I read, or he's added a massive amount in the last 12 months. Which the thing, it brings us full circle, because of course the government are saying about electric cars, and they want us to have, and they were going to be, you know, carbon neutral by 2035 or whatever. But of course the price of electric's gone up 96%. So you can't drive a fucking electric car because you can't afford it.
Guess what, petrol heads? Still cheaper to buy fucking petrol.
Only 22% for petrol.
HGV drivers are definitely still putting fucking red diesel in their fucking tanks.
Mustang is still the way forward, petrol heads. I'm sorry to say it.
This is why I walk everywhere.
Also because you can't drive.
Semantics. Semantics.
So, what I would conclude by saying is there definitely is a cost of living crisis. Gas, electric, the energy companies and renters are to blame. And, you know, I think we have to stop blaming our salaries, as in you can't expect a 70% hike in your salary. Now, what I will say is that I'm a teacher, and teaching salaries have not gone up anywhere near that sort of nearly 30% in the last 5 years. But what I would say is I think we have to stop expecting more from our companies when minimum wage has gone up 28%, and that puts a lot of pressure on companies that employ a lot of workers. So I think we have to start blaming the energy companies and rent and landlords for that.
Well, yeah, because remember that the companies that you're then saying should pay you that deficit are also subject to their own rent, electric, council tax, and gas and water bills that are hiked as well. So they are going to be losing a proportion themselves and trying to cut costs to still make enough profit to even pay you. So, yeah, I guess you got to remember that as well. They're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Have you heard about Elon Musk's gigafactories he's building now?
Oh no!
He's building what?
The guy's a lunatic.
Gigafactory. I have no idea how it makes energy. Right? It was in the video. There's a video of Elon Musk explaining it to Leonardo DiCaprio for whatever reason, and he's talking about he's got this new way of making energy or something, right? And then he's basically saying, like, if he builds, he's on his first gigafactory now, and it's in the Nevada desert or something, and it somehow converts something into energy. And it's like, he's like, oh, if I can get 100 of these around the world, there'll be unlimited energy.
And I'll charge a fortune for it.
Yeah.
100%. Hasn't he also recently mentioned that he could build a train track
from America to UK?
To New York to the UK, and you could get there by what was the time frame he gave you?
58 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he said he could do it. He said he could do it.
What was the clause to that though? What was the clause to that? Like, it was a 15-minute preparation to stop time window or something, because you'd be going that fast that there'd have to be a 15-minute lapse of you slowing down at a rapid pace, so that your body doesn't just fuck up. Like, you would be going that fast. So when you got here, you just stopped. It'd be like getting off an escalator at 3,000 miles an hour and just be like, fuck.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm not being rude. I'm just doing some maths.
He's like, he's estimated it to be like $238 trillion or something. When it was something ludicrous like that.
Something mad.
But the money he'd probably make back from it alone.
An interesting.
I'd go to New York on a train.
Any of you avid viewers out there that want to have a little look on the sideline yourself, all I will say is the reason Elon Musk is so rich is that he's never in his lifetime paid himself a salary. Go and work out why he does that.
Do you know how fast that would be?
Fast.
Well, if it's 3,461 miles from London to New York, and it's 58 minutes, that means you'd be going just over 3,500 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's plane speed.
What?
I wouldn't fucking stick right out the window.
Planes go like 600 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Well,
that's like seven times faster than a plane.
What did the bullet train clock in at? Was that like 1,200?
200 miles an hour, something like that. 300 miles an hour.
Concorde
would film though.
Concorde went 1350.
So it's three times faster than
like
Concorde.
3 times faster than Concorde. It's absolutely. You would die. You would die.
No, that's why he said there had to be a 15-minute lapse before you arrived, like where it would slow you down at like an
Well, you've got
eccentric
to
rate.
fucking throw up.
The rest of your body.
You know, 3,500 to naught.
That's the entrails back there.
But you know what? You're looking at like the erosion of the track. The fastest recorded land speed currently is 763. It's like 5 times that. Like it's not. What speed
Does his brain work out?
does a rocket go?
Rocket speed. We're on jet fuel now.
These going. Oh, actually, to be fair, rockets go up to 10,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, they have to do
Fucking
that.
hell.
They have to do that course where they get swung around dead fast, don't they, to test the knots or something
Yeah,
like
but I'm
that.
not going to do a course just to get the train.
You spend 40 minutes in a little simulator. It's fucking London.
To give me like a speed awareness course.
Hello, lads. Fuck it. I'll just be there tomorrow. I'll get a plane.
I mean, that is
Thanks.
crazy, isn't it? Like, I'll give up the extra 5 hours of my life, but I will, honestly. Oh
And
my
we're struggling
God.
with poverty, homelessness, and the economy. And this silly guy wants to build a train track from New York to London.
That
So
is
if you-
absolutely bonkers.
If you're going 3,500 miles an hour, you're breaking this the sound barrier 4.5 times over.
Wow.
I would
Absolute-
love to make a sonic boom.
Could you imagine? I bet you the way he'd do it, he would. You board the train up, Ben, yeah, and then you literally what he'd do. The tunnel would be, like a vacuum. He'd suck all the air out, and that's how he would achieve that.
Yeah, it'd be like a bullet out of a gun situation, wouldn't it? It would fire.
He'd
at
have
such
to.
a
It wouldn't go.
massive rate.
Air resistance wouldn't. I don't think it would let you go.
I
that
just
far.
have the image
How
of it being.
fast does a bullet travel?
I have it being like the image of. Has anyone seen the Incredible Burt Wonderstone?
It's faster than a bullet.
Faster than a bullet.
2000, wasn't it?
Has anyone seen the Incredible Burt Wonderstone?
No.
No, I don't
There's a
think
scene
so.
in that where he transports an entire like theatre of people to another place, and he's like, "Watch, I'm going to clip my fingers, and you'll all be there." And he clicks his fingers, and they're all there. And then the end credits show you how he does it, and he fucking knockout gases everyone. Like, gets the team to come in, pick them all up, throw them in the back of a van, drive them to the area, sit them all down, and then he's like, "And they're going to wake up any minute now," and then just clicks his finger like that.
A bullet typically travels at 3,000 kilometers per hour, which is about 2,000 miles. It's like nearly twice as fast as a bullet. No, it's not happening. I'm not having it, I'm afraid. I'm not having that.
There was a theory a while ago about if you could make a train, right, that would go around the world and it would go at a certain miles an hour, you could travel forward in time because you'd be going that fast.
Yeah. You would actually go
get
faster
before
than
you
the speed of the axis of the Earth rotation.
Yeah.
So you'd actually be there before the Earth is technically there.
So you'd get back before you left and say hello to yourself, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And they said the DeLorean was not possible. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Anyway, I think we should move on.
I mean, yeah, I will happily move that along. So I was going to briefly touch on the notion that society today believes that what we do, even this socially, sitting behind the screens is a bad thing. That we spend way too much time behind screens, not interacting, not having social interactions. The people are becoming zombified by technology and so on and so forth. Now, I wanted to debunk that theory slightly by saying that has anybody ever considered the notion, take us for example, okay, more recently, last month, I came up and met you two boys up in Manchester. This weekend, we literally sat there Friday night and went, don't fancy sat here bored this weekend. We're going to Wales to meet two of the other people in the community, Gav and Sherry. Now, that's all centered around 5 or 6 years of us all interacting socially behind a screen. And I guess what I'm trying to debunk here is that it's not always to be seen as a bad thing. Sometimes there are not people in the area you connect with, or not people around you socially that you get on with, that you're friends with. You can't just assume that everyone's going to make friends with the little pool of people where you currently live. Sometimes that's not possible. However, socially, it's a way of networking. It's a way of making friends, finding people that have got similar interests or likes or dislikes in gaming and so on and so on and so forth. That actually, what we've done in 5 or 6 years is help and support each other through times of any magnitude, good, bad, horrific. But we felt comfortable talking to each other in times where nobody else will talk to. You wouldn't go and talk to your parents about some of it. You wouldn't go and talk to your siblings about some of it or your work colleagues. However, as an online friend or somebody in our social network that we've got to love and cherish in our little community for having the same likes and dislikes as us, it's made us feel comfortable enough to talk about our problems, to air out our frustrations, whether it be depression or suicidal or even the good moments that people wouldn't understand, because we are connected on the same level. So yes, it can be a bad thing, I think, to be socially behind screens. However, what the last couple of months has proved is actually, I don't think we should always see it as a bad thing. There are good elements to social networking and there are good elements to us all having friendships online, not to deter away from the fact that there are some real weirdos and creeps online that you should watch out for. But I just wanted to put that out there. Like, there's such a lot of hatred for social media and social media sites, but they're literally networking people at the moment. They're supporting people. They're paying people. People have made lifelong jobs from it, friendships from it, relationships from it. I think we should take it at face value. How it's being used should be taken into consideration.
Yeah, well, I mean, the word, when you, like you said, we talk to, we tell each other everything, like we have done from like day dot pretty much. But when you've got like people over here, if someone messages me and then I'm having a rough day, someone messages me over here, the word that most people will use in them kind of situations is just, I'm fine. But like when you find a bond with people online like we all have, if one of you messages me, how you doing, and I'm having a shit day, I'm going to rant off to you because I know you're there to listen and you're there to, speak to. Whereas you don't get that same kind of bond with people you see every day. You see them you don't want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke about something at dinner the other day, Ben. I brought up to you because it was touching on the very first podcast before we started talking about AI right at the end of it, about kind of how the world's separating and everybody's getting more like, everyone's getting more distance, like physical distance between each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, well, we were talking with Ben about like kind of the changeover from like Victorian London into kind of the industrial era and like how the change was and everything. And like, in the sense of like, if you look at it kind of like a bigger scale of like, that transition from then to then obviously was a bit slower because obviously technology and stuff wasn't a massive thing back then, and the way the world changed so much, like they stopped using like whale oil and stuff like that in lamps and started using like electricity and all that kind of stuff. And like, I feel like it's kind of the same change now, but you're seeing it quicker because it is like the technology's here and everybody's using it now. Everybody's spreading out so much quicker. I mean, whereas like back then, you could literally go sit in your own house and you wouldn't see anyone for a week if you didn't want to. Like, yeah,
and that's how you have to look at it. Like, I mean, the moment they created the first wheel, as just an example, what followed? Every single thing you could think of that a wheel could pull. Like a cart, a transporter, a flatbed wooden thing to carry the beer around. They were making beer barrels that shape because you could roll them. Like, and I think you got to remember with technology, the same thing happened. As soon as you developed a microchip and then worked out what the possibilities of a microchip was, it's just accelerated.
Well, it's like the cycle of the world, like the war and stuff like that. Like, come out of the Second World War, you had stuff like the microwave, and like you had like penicillin and stuff came out of like times of struggle and stuff like that. And it's kind of like this perpetual kind of 75-year cycle that the world goes through. And it's kind of like you get like the post-war era, like the pre-war era, and it's everything's like peace and all this kind of stuff. Then it's war, and then it's the technology boom afterwards, and then it goes back into that kind of same kind of cycle. And then,
I couldn't live without technology now. I'm first to admit that I need technology in my life. I can't afford to go all these places, but I just stick my little virtual reality headset on and I can sit in these places and I'm there. I mean, I don't feel the heat other than that like burning sensation, but I can go sit in the reef and just I can do things that I could never normally do because of technology.
With regards to social networking, I think you're right about the positives, but also I think people are quite, particularly for their children, I think people are quite rightly concerned about it. And I can understand why. And it's a shame. And it's one of those things, I think, like with everything, there's a lot of disturbed people in the world. And I think a lot of people worry for the safety of their kids for that reason, because the internet's a big old place and there really is fundamentally no protection from it. As much as you can, kids are forever finding their way around parental controls and things like that. And I think that's why people worry. What I don't like is there's the stigma around, oh, your friends are online, they're not real friends, or your friends are online, there's something wrong with you because your best friends aren't in your real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Warren's my brother, and we've known each other for years. But we
32.
mostly, and this is the same for everyone, mostly everyone you know. Fuck you, 32. I'm only 30. Mostly everyone you know, you communicate with online. I spoke to my mum today. Like, I sent her a message on WhatsApp. That I think there's above the surface of the water, so to speak, is all the stuff we think about and the dangers. But actually, I think there's so much there that we don't think about when we go social media is dangerous or whatever like that. I don't think that we think about how much of our daily communication, how much of our maintaining relationships, even with people that we do see. I was messaging my boss yesterday on WhatsApp, like people that we still see in real life. We communicate with them on using social media and the internet just as much.
Yeah, and not to detract, like you said, the fears are real, and I understand the fears, and everybody should be conscious of the way that social media is being used, because a lot of bad things do happen. But as well, I mean, from a teaching perspective as well, like there are countries and people out there that have never likely to, and I don't want to sound harsh, but never likely to experience certain things in their entire life because of the wealth of the country or the sheer land mass. Some people in America, it takes them 3 days to get to the next state, but their country is so vast. However, with things like the internet and the VR that Warren uses and things like that, every single person can now have the opportunity educationally to learn whatever it is that interests them. And think about the possibility of letting all of those minds unlock their own potential to actually get involved in their own interests and learn and educate themselves in things they're interested in, which normally in 50 years ago, not one of them would have had the opportunity to do that.
And all that for a small fee of £350.
And I'm telling you now, your £350 in 15 years from now will be £30.
Yeah,
It will go that way as the next new thing comes out. It just will.
But with things like technology, no matter where you are in the world or whatever new technology comes out, there will always be people that will use it for bad things to go against the good. It will never not be an issue, no matter what you do.
I think that goes for everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, the wheel was invented, but people still use wheels for bad.
Well,
I mean,
torture
to be fair, every very decent supercomputer, microchip, or whatever has come at the hands of nuclear and weapon manufacturing. That's how all this technology has been discovered, most of the part of it. Transmitting signals and frequencies to fire missiles is how you've ended up with some of the best radios and telephone and the networks we're using now.
You take like nuclear power and stuff as well. Like the atom bomb was created, do you know what I mean? To be a thing like that. And obviously now the world is inundated with fucking nuclear weapons and stuff. But I mean, you'd never have like nuclear power and all that kind of stuff. So where would the world be now if we'd been using coal everywhere for the last, do you know what I mean, 80 years or so? Do you know what I mean? Like it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? I mean, I think with like social media and stuff, it's very much in its youth still. Like in the last 20 so years, it's becoming a lot bigger now. And I think as for some really really morbid, but as the older generations die off, even us, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it'll
speak for yourself. I am the older generation.
Yeah, fucking hang on.
Well, you're only a couple of years older than me. It's not like you're mega years older than me. But like, I'm just saying, like, as you like in time, things will change and it will become like the norm, and it won't be a stigma. Like, there'll be obviously the bad side, but
Yeah, we're one of the last few generations that have seen absolutely zero technology all the way up to current date. Like when I grew up as a kid, man, we were only just in the realms of radios and black and white TV, and we've gone from that to VR and AI. You know what I mean?
The 60s were a hard time for you, Ben, weren't they?
Fuck off, dickhead.
So,
I still had a black and white
you
TV.
did not have a black and white TV.
My
We
first
we only
TV
had
to
5
play my
channels.
PlayStation 1 on was a black and white TV.
Do you remember when
I
TVs
have seen and
had
played on a black and white TV.
Do you remember when TVs had arses?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking huge they were. Designed on the old model of
Kids
projector
now
screen.
would just not even like, they just would not even.
Sydney dropped one on Matthew
Nah,
Lillard's head in
you
Scream.
couldn't. I tell you what, you couldn't fucking break them though, could you? These tellies now. Ooh,
No,
good.
and it was the same earlier. You know, popped down to see Gav in Wales, and you know his kid, 3 years old. She got the TV remote. She's scanning through the Sky Glass telly, found YouTube, gone on there, got Peppa Pig. 3 years old. I was 3 years old. I don't know shit about that sort of stuff.
I
Because
got
it wasn't a thing, you know.
I got a Nokia 3410 for my 10th birthday because I wanted to play Snake.
I think I had a Siemens C45 as my first one.
I never had any credit or anything like that. I just wanted to play Snake.
My first mobile phone had an antenna.
Did you used to sit there with the 0800 reverse?
No, it was like a
Text somebody else.
it was like a thick black antenna. It was like it was only about that long, and it was just thick and black.
Do you remember when like flip phones were like the hugest thing? Like everyone, you just wanted flip phones.
You had to fucking slide up on the side phones as well, the keyboard. And
do you remember when Blackberries were literally the
BBM,
and Walkman,
ping, ping,
and
ping.
the Sony Ericsson Walkmans?
Yeah, I had that. I was telling the kids in school the other day about Blackberries and about, you know, what how they were dead handy because they had a QWERTY keyboard, and you had BBM, you had BBM. BlackBerry Messenger, and you had to give people your pin. You didn't have you didn't use your phone number. You used your pin, and you used to share other people's pins.
Put someone else's pin on a dating site and then watch them get all the spam.
Remember the old days of like infrared and stuff? So like you go to school.
Infrared, and you send each other songs, but you had to hold your phone like your phone would be like right there.
Someone would knock the table. That's it. 10 minutes gone.
Stopped. You were dead cool if your phone had Bluetooth. That was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I had one of the white.
You could send songs from across the room.
I had one of the old white Sony Ericsson Walkmans. I could put a little 126 megabyte memory card in it to put like 12 songs on it, and it used to have a little. You might remember it. It was a little silver docking station with a little up and down volume control and a change track on the top, little gold speakers on it.
126 megabytes was a good memory card then.
Yeah.
Now
Top of the range. But also remember, in comparison though, like that's the same thing. You bought your first PlayStation back in the day. It was £369.
Yeah, the fucking card saver, the little card savers you have to put in the front to fucking have your games on.
Little memory card. I'll put cheats on this one. I'll put this one on this one.
If you play PS2 now, it says, "Oh, there's no memory card installed." You won't be able to save anything. Oh, it's all right. I just want to play this once anyway.
And that's the one.
I'll just start Spider-Man again tomorrow.
But that's the one thing that I will agree with anybody on, to say that the world is done back to front. So it doesn't matter that I think the microchip will go down one day. So I like to have disc versions of my games. Just I'm a bit possessive about that. Now I'm onto the PS5 and the Series X. What is the fucking point? Because I put the disc in, and then it says, before I can even use whatever's on the fucking disc, I've got to install 85 gig.
Yeah.
Why? Why have we got what's the purpose of this disc edition then?
Yeah, well
What's
then it
the
still
point of
won't work without the disc.
No, and then if I take the disc out and download it from the store, it's the same fucking size.
I haven't since I started playing the modern consoles. I haven't had a disc because Warren gave me his old Xbox and the disc drive didn't work, and then I bought a PS5 discless. And
so there you go. For anybody out there, right? As well as that, you're supposed to hit the subscribe button already, so do that as well.
Yeah.
But right, don't pay the extra 60, 70, 80 pound on these consoles. It is irrelevant now, and I wish I hadn't have done, because I could have got another console.
And you'll buy the disc, And 3 months later, you're going to go in the PlayStation store and it's going to be 20 quid less anyway.
Probably on PlayStation Plus or whatever. Yeah, she did this fucking buy in the first place.
Or every single one of the 4 games I was bought last year for Christmas are all free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I should have bought none of them because I'd have got them all for nothing anyway. So don't buy a disc. It's irrelevant.
I bought the
Straight
disc
for me
of
to say.
Batman. I bought the disc of Batman for a tenner. I literally went onto the PlayStation store next day. It was down to £2.
Yeah.
I went and bought the Return to Arkham PS4 Duo again, and it was still holding value at like £26-27 or whatever. It's now free.
Yeah.
So I wasted my time again. Like, do you know what I mean? So don't waste your time, sports fans, with discs edition. Just
I
get rid
feel
of them.
like CEX and stuff like that are kind of just outdated now. Like,
Yeah, they can't last much longer, can they? Those kinds of shops.
It's just opened a cash generators in town.
Yeah, no, cash generators is dead good though, because they get like not dead good. I bought my PS5 from cash generators. The first one I took home, do you remember, Warren? It kept turning off. I played the first Spider-Man game. I got up to the top of Fisk Tower, which is the first mission, and it turned off. And I was like, that's odd. And then I turned it back on, and it just turned off again. It was just overheating, but it stunk. They clearly hadn't cleaned it because it stunk of smoke. It was full of shit. So I'm guessing they probably just cleaned it and put it back on the shelf, and it was overheating. But I went back and I said, look, I don't mind, just give me that discless one there that you've got, because like it was paid for and it was the same price. And I was just because I'd got a disc one, and I was like, just give me that discless one. I'm not bothered. So before we finish, Wozzy, it's your birthday. I know you wanted to do something birthday themed.
Fuck's sake.
You realise that it's not even going to be on the video because you didn't make any sound, and you only appear on the video when you make sound.
No, well, I blew up a balloon. Anyway.
I mean, just tap your mic and do it again if you want.
It's fine. I thought it'd be a nice to end on a nice note while it is my birthday, and talk about like our best birthday memory for when we were kids. So I obviously when I was younger, my mum, I always wanted a birthday party when I was younger, and my mum tried, and she threw me a little tea party. I don't know if you remember, Andrew, the little tea party with crisp and that's not what I'm going to talk about. I'm just bringing it up. But the crisp and sandwiches, and there was like 4 of us there. So I always wanted a birthday party, and then when I was 21, I think you actually helped arrange it, didn't you, Andrew?
I arranged it.
Right. So they arranged a surprise 21st for my birthday, and we went, and everyone was still alive at this point. So everyone was there. So my great grandma popping poppers in my face as soon as I walked around the door. My auntie made me like a cake of me sat on a couch with a gaming controller, and me and Andrew, we did so many Jello shots that night. I think
I made the jelly shots,
and you made them so strong. And I remember going outside during the party, and I was throwing up everywhere, which you do. It's your 21st birthday. It's not a party until you've thrown up on your birthday. And I was throwing up in the alley behind the where we were, and someone came out to take a picture of me, and it was one of them where I didn't want a picture of me throwing up being online. So, but they counted me in. They counted me in for the picture. So I was leant over the bin, and it was, coming out of me. And they were like, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" And he went 3, 2, 1. And as he said 1, I just kind of went and managed to compose myself and went, and then went straight back down to throwing up after the picture was taken. Just the fact that like everyone came together to throw me a party is something I'd always wanted for my 21st. It was, we had a great night. Friends were there, family were there. It was just honestly a memory I'll have for the rest of my life.
Good.
Nice.
My favourite birthday memory is probably really. I've never been bothered about birthdays, and me and Tiernan have this argument every year because he thinks his should be a national holiday, and I'm not bothered. And for my 22nd birthday, we had a rehearsal. I was doing a production of Hairspray at the Garrick Theatre in Altrincham, and it was a Sunday. My birthday was actually on the Monday, but on the Sunday we went out for drinks, and we went to this pub in Altrincham, and then we went out in the gay village in Manchester. And I just remember really distinctly there was we were in the Wetherspoons, and next door was a Chinese, and it was called the Wok Inn, and I spent all night, and I mean all night, going, "How'd you get in that Chinese?" "Oh, I know. You just walk in." I swear to honestly, every single person in that Wetherspoons was going, I was going, how'd you get in the Chinese? And they were all going, you walk in, you just walk in. the whole Wetherspoons was doing it. And then so we got the tram back to Manchester. I was using the handrails on the tram to do backflips. It was brilliant. And I just had the most brilliant night. That's my favorite. And it was the whole thing, I think, was with my best friend Libby, we just had I just had the best time ever, I think. So that's my favorite birthday memory. You just walk in.
Cam?
Big Cam, what's happening?
I think it was from my 20th, and I still lived in Kent at this point, so I was away from my family and all that. And literally, we were quarantined where I worked because obviously we worked like a kid centre place, and it was quarantined because there was just mystery illness going around, and we had like basically 2 weeks off in the end, and they were like hoping it was going to go away after 3 days. We had like 2 weeks off, and for like a straight week, like from the minute they told we were about to be quarantined, we all ran to the shops and just bought obscene amounts of alcohol to like last us for 3 days. And I think some people snuck out and got some more, and literally I think I drank for about 7 days straight, like just every day, just drinking. And it came up to my birthday, and I was so hungover on the morning of my birthday, and everyone was like, oh, we're going paintballing, and I was like, sound, let's go. And I fucking remember it was literally, obviously, because it's in June, right in the middle of June, and this is like when June used to be really warm. And fucking, I put jeans on because I thought I'm gonna hit by paintball, it's gonna hurt like fuck. I put jeans on, didn't realize when I got there they gave us overalls, so I was fucking baking the whole day, and like we were just having a good time in that. And I stupidly said it was my birthday, and I got fucking sent down like the shooting range, and everyone just had to fire like 3 paintballs at us. And there was like 2 other people, like one of the losing team and the person who won for whatever reason who was leading the other team got to come up. And I turned because I got shot right in the chest. I turned and got shot in the back of the ear and was temporarily blinded because it like fucking ricocheted from my head. And I literally got back to the centre afterwards, and we were like, oh yeah, sound. And I could not bring myself to drink. I was so hungover still that I drank every other day but my birthday that year. And I just had a wicked night of just literally everybody was just dancing, that everybody was steaming, and it was just a really good night. But yeah.
Nice.
Good chunk of that sounded painful.
Yeah, well, my ear was ringing as well. Like the side I got hit, it was ringing, and I just went white. I couldn't see a damn thing. But I could like 10, 15 minutes afterwards. I was like, fucking, I might have been concussed. That's my mind. I wasn't drinking.
We have very different definitions of a good night.
I had a really good time. It was a good time.
Okay.
I think one of the guys got his stomach pumped like the morning we went as well. So I mean,
Okay.
Well, I mean, neither of mine involved drink. Surprisingly, I'm not a big drinker, but 2 that stick out for me. Number 1, last month was my birthday, and we went up to Manchester to see the boys. That's one that's going to stay with me for a long old lifetime. That one of the best days I've had in many, many years. Obviously, once you come out of the child stage, I think birthdays are kind of. I don't really like my birthday. I don't like celebrating it. I don't like people making a fuss. Really, I hate it. Absolutely hate it. He's holding up his badge again, which no one can see for the benefit of the tape.
Hello.
But the other one, interestingly, is actually from when I was a lot younger, when I was a child. Back then, it was common for you to have sleepovers and have all your best buds round and loads of crappy party food and sweets and everything else like that. And yes, being a bit of a dinosaur that I am compared to you boys, we were having a sleepover. My room was massive back then in the house we lived in. I had like 7 or 8 people in there, all the mattresses and sleeping bags on the floor. And we were coked out on little sherbet penny sticks, and I had a little boom box there, and that was a Pepsi Max Charts 2000 CD in my little boom box, playing that stupid volume, and we were building little Lego F1 cars, and it was just a proper. It always sticks out because I spent hours building this little Lego Formula 1 Ferrari, put all the stickers on, put it on my shelf, and then one of the idiots went and fucking tripped over everything and knocked it straight off the shelf and smashed it to pieces after 2 hours of building that. But it was just one of those. It takes you back to being young, carefree. All the kids stayed over. We had a sleep. It was massive sleepover. Loads of party food, sherbet, cans of Coke. We loved it, and that was a good time.
I have to ask, because of your advanced age, Ben, how many of those sweets and chocolates you had at that party have been discontinued now?
At least 50%.
No toffos for you.
Toffos.
Love a
At
toffo.
least
Love a
50%.
toffo.
At least.
Toffos were the one, man.
Banana toffos. Oh.
Yeah.
Does anyone remember Highland toffee? Oh my god, that stuff.
Oh, that stuff was good. And equally now, not any of those penny sweets are a penny anymore.
I mean, my teeth would not take Highland toffee at my age.
Honeycomb was a big thing then as well, wasn't it? Just honeycomb, like blocks of honeycomb.
I remember going to when we went to Portugal. We stayed in a hotel the first night. We didn't get the villa till the second day. And at breakfast, they just had a fresh honeycomb, and you could just cut yourself a piece of honeycomb off. It was absolutely stunning.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever had honeycomb. I've seen jars of honey with bits of honeycomb in it, as it's part of the novelty. I've never.
Yeah, I think Ben meant like the kind you get in a crunchy, but I've just brought it to my mind how nice fresh honeycomb is.
Yeah, and I mentioned in the fresh honeycomb is a completely different entity in itself. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we sell the crunchy type honeycomb in bags now. It's actually, you are right, it's on like a comeback at the minute, and we've got like big bags of it. B&M sell it. Oh, not me. Cut that out. Cut out.
Every week he makes me edit something, doesn't he?
I think you should just start telling people you work in home bargains so we don't get confused.
1 week I'll get a straight upload and no editing.
Okay, gentlemen, that was a really pleasant way to end the night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really nice. Wozzy watches, Cam, Lone Wolf. It's been nice chatting with you, and I'll see you next week.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, gentlemen.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good one, boys.